everyone, and welcome back to the Wyndham Voyager. My name is Natalie Gendrasco, and I am the host and communications director for the Wyndham School District. This podcast invites the public in to hear directly from our leading experts in different areas of public education. I also want to mention that this podcast is created in collaboration with our own digital media teacher, Mr. Adams. He will be in charge of recording and editing the podcast. Thanks, Mr. Adams. As we get closer to the end of the school year, we wanted to give our listeners an opportunity to learn a little bit more about the summer camps we have offered here in the Wyndham School District. Our summer camps are now open for registration. With me for this discussion is Sonia Pierpont and Karen Tenhagen. Thank you so much for joining us. So I always like to start each episode with learning a little bit about the people that are coming into the podcast. So Sonia, why don't you go first? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Sonia Pierpont. I am the RTI coordinator at Wyndham Center School. I've worked as a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teacher in the district for many years.
And I'm Karen Tenhagen. Currently, I am the tech ed instructor at Wyndham Middle School for the last 4 years. And before that, I was a 6th grade science teacher for 8 years at the middle school. So
wonderful. Thank you both for joining us today. So today we're going to be talking all about summer camps. So we're super excited. We just recently launched the program. How many sessions do we have running this year?
We're excited to say that we have 67 different camps being offered over the 5 weeks this summer.
Great.
And our camps this year will be at Wyndham Middle School and Wyndham High School.
Now, what are the weeks again that they're running?
They'll begin June 26th through the 29th, and then we'll take a week break, and they will run from July 10th through August 3rd. They're always Monday through Thursday. We begin at 8:30 in the morning, and our camps end at 2 p.m. So students could do an AM session, they could do a PM session, and there are 7 all-day sessions.
So it goes from 8 to 2:30 is what you said?
Yes,
okay.
Yep, 8:30.
Great.
but they don't have to be there all day. If they want to just do an AM session, they can do that. Or maybe they have something else in the morning. They could choose a PM camp.
Great. So they can actually pick between, and they can do any week that they want, kind of fluctuate between the activities that are offered, right?
Yes, we have some students who will participate in all 5 weeks and the potential to participate in 10 different camps, or maybe they find 1 or 2 opportunities sprinkled over the 5 weeks. So the registration is open, as we said, and there is a website that will explain every session and what time they could expect to see that session.
Great. So how long does it take to kind of plan this whole?
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
We have some instructors that have been with us year after year.
Right.
I've been involved in the program. I think this is my 6th year, maybe my 7th.
Okay.
And I contact those instructors. We start talking about January.
Oh, wow.
And working with everyone at the SAU to decide what weeks are available, what locations would be best.
Mm-hmm.
We work with our special education staff throughout the district to get everybody involved. So planning starts early, and then we always try to have our openings available to parents around the beginning of April.
Right.
But there's also some of us who have been instructors that as soon as the last week of camp is over, we've already put in our plea for next year and said, next year I think I'd like to do.
Right.
So it's really kind of in the back of our minds all year long because we get the opportunity to work with kids in a situation different than our classrooms, where they get to choose why they're there, and it's something that they're interested in. And we don't have to test them.
Right.
We just get to have the fun of teaching them and watching them learn and experience things. So
I can imagine for a teacher too, right? Like you're seeing, it's your kids that you're kind of seeing, whether it's past years, because I know some of the age ranges, it's, grades 1 to 3, so that it's a little wider. So it's either kids that you haven't seen yet that you get to meet maybe for the first time, or it's kids that kind of came through your system already. So I think for a teacher that must be so exciting to be able to continue the conversation with those kids, but to your point, in kind of like a different way. So that's really exciting.
It is nice, and our students, like you said, there are age ranges just for the nature of whatever program they're participating in, but also if they have cousins or friends visiting from out of town, anyone can participate in our camps. It's not just exclusive to Windham students, although those are the majority of our students.
Right.
But we have teachers who might bring their kids.
Right.
And they're instructing a different camp or working in some of our school programs, or we have people that have their grandchildren or cousins visiting who participate as well. So it's really nice that we can open it up.
That's a huge
anybody.
perk that I actually, working here didn't know. So I'll have to take a look at that because I didn't know that. That's awesome, though. I thought it was exclusive to Windham. That's really good.
No,
I mean,
we're
that is a
happy
huge
that we can
perk
open it
that,
up.
again, if you're volunteering to take some of your time this summer to participate in this program, that's awesome that you can say, hey, you can teach this and you've got little, so why don't they go do one of the baking classes or something like that. That's a great perk.
Yeah, and another kind of program that we have developed over the last few years is reaching out to the high school, and students who need service hours are able to come in and volunteer with one of their maybe former teachers or in an area of interest and spend some time, earn those service hours by working with us in the program.
Oh, that's great.
So we do have students who come year after year and look forward to what they're going to participate in in the summer and reach out and get that double duty.
Right. So I know we have, I think you said around 67 sessions, but are there any new ones that you want to highlight or ongoing ones that are just really popular?
Sure, some popular ones. Mrs. Fothergill always does a couple different musical
She's
theater.
Wonderful, yeah.
She is. They're doing a Mary Poppins this year and Wicked as musical productions.
So are they doing like a full production where at the end they're giving like an actual show, or?
They do. It's a shorter show, but they always invite parents in the last week of camp. So it's all day, 4 days. They're learning songs and routines and lines and putting on a little mini production at the end.
I love that.
We have a symphony camp and pop vocal camps this year. That's a new one.
Really fun.
Katie Avalos is running a pop vocal camp, so that's new for her. That's an all-day camp for 7th through 12th grade, so it's really nice when we can extend that up to our older grade levels. Let's see, what else is new this year?
Well, Mr. Moyer from the middle school is doing outdoor PE. So if your kids need some off-screen time and some outdoor running around, he's doing that all 5 weeks in the afternoon session. So they get an opportunity to, play with or interact with people maybe they don't normally, and just enjoy themselves, get out and run around for a little bit.
I bet kids will love that. And he's so great, too. So I'm sure just knowing that he's the instructor, I'm sure they'll probably fill up quickly.
Yeah, some of ours that fill up quickest are our baking camps. Yeah, Mrs. Mendez, Dora Mendez, who works at Golden Brook, runs different cooking camps for ages 1 through 3. And grades 1 through 3, not ages. Oh, sorry. Grades 1 through 3, and those are very popular. She obviously working within the kitchen constraints, she can only have about 12 students, so those tend to fill up pretty quick.
And she does that is she on all 5 weeks? No, she's on 4 weeks this year. But she does a morning and an afternoon session.
Oh, wow.
So she's got that kitchen cooking all summer long.
That's fun. What kind of stuff do they make? Do you know?
Oh, it's usually a theme each week. So I think, was there a Disney one last year?
It was a Disney Foods and Fun.
How
where
fun is
they're
that?
making Belle's Rose Tart. They're making
Oh my
Rapunzel's
goodness.
braided bread. The students bring home goodies every day, and it's really neat to watch their families or someone come or pick them up and see what they've brought home to share, or maybe not. That tends to get to be an argument sometimes with their siblings. But cooking around the world, little chefs and bakers, so really, really interesting and creative things that the kids can make. They make their own butter. They make bread, pizzas, all different. She has 3 or 4 different foods for them every week, every day of the week.
And she's also one of those people who takes advantage of those helpers.
Yes.
So she has a kind of her kitchen staff that come along with her for the summer to volunteer.
Well, I'm glad, because in my head, I have a little at home. I'm like, I could not imagine trying to get 12 kids to make the same thing at the same time, but
she does a great job.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, we have a lot of our teachers working with within kind of STEM challenges, if you will. Their Lego creativity, or they're presenting STEM challenges with duct tape and cardboard. We have some new art pieces. We have cardboard arcade games. Those were great last year. Suzanne Cronin had 2 different camps, 2 afternoons, but this year it's mornings, I should say. And kids came, and their parents and siblings came in the afternoon and played the games once they were created. So really looking forward to seeing what kids can do. Instructors have great ideas, and it's open, kind of that open planning and engineering to see what they'll come up with. The sky's really the limit to their imagination.
Well, I'm going to put a plug in for the 3D printing camp. So I do tech ed at the middle school, but I'm down at the library at Goldenbrook, and I watch Pam Hathaway work with Tinkercad with the Goldenbrook kids. And so in the summer, I have 3 different camps of 3D printing with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, going into 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And so I've kind of set myself up by teaching them these skills. By the time they get to the middle school, I've got to up my ante, because they're going to have a lot of experience.
Right.
And so it's a quick 4 days, but I teach them some of the skills that I'm teaching my 7th and 8th graders. So
that's awesome.
And I just love the fact that program continues, because once they get through at Goldenbrook, they're going over to the center school and working there with some of the 3D printing, and then they get to me up at the middle school. And then that sets them up fantastically for the programs here at the high school, too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this might be a question that most people know, especially if they participated in your camps, but when you're looking at the grade range, because it's the summer, are you talking about the grade that they're going into, is it more relevant to, or the grade they're coming out of?
Yes, the incoming grade.
Incoming grade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
So it does say that on the website, and if there's any question, they can always, our information is there, they can reach out. But registrations, like we said, are opening today, and there's a lot of information to fill out. We do need the medical and all the safety information and permissions, but then the fun is at the end, where they get to select what their summer weeks will look like.
Right, so even if they are a Wyndham student, you do require to kind of give those same sort of medical forms again.
Yes, so the instructors have all of that information. Yep. We do have nursing staff that works with us to kind of oversee our program, but emergency contact information, because we don't have the access to those kind of day-to-day things that our school registration has.
Right. How many students do you usually get registered?
Last year we had 610 students.
Oh my goodness.
So big group of students who participated in about 1,000 different camp sessions.
Wow.
Our largest group, being our football group, was just about 100 students. And both of the theater camps were about 40 students.
That is amazing.
Our smallest camps were about 8 students.
But still, that's a great turnout you know?
A lot of fun, making new friends in that smaller environment, or getting to be involved in a sport and kind of practicing and learning the ins and outs. If you've never played that sport, is a really good opportunity for students.
So can I just put in a plug, because Mr. Burdett is doing his outdoor one again this year. And there's a fishing opportunity for summer camp.
What?
So over at Clyde Pond, is that where that is?
Yes, there's a morning and an afternoon session with Mr. Burdett, and we're kind of smiling here, which you can't see, because Mr. Burdett unfortunately couldn't do that camp last year, and myself and Mrs. Cronin took over for the week, so we are very happy that Mr. Burdett is coming back to go fishing, because we took 27 students to Clyde Pond.
Goodness.
Yes, young students, so K to 4 last year for a fishing experience. So it's nature explorers. We had there are great trails behind the high school, and just had a great week, but ending with our kind of pinnacle, if you will, of getting to go fishing, and lots of fish caught, and That's boys great. From the bass fishing team volunteered.
What a perfect opportunity for them to volunteer, right?
Great.
Yeah.
We needed them.
Not your typical summer camp.
Yeah, that sounds so fun. So how do they register? Is it an easy process for parents to be able to get in on the website? Is it through the website that they register?
It is through the website. There are several tabs. One is a camp overview that will explain the 5 weeks of camp and what the offerings are. There is a registration tab, and the registration form will probably take 15 to 20 minutes at least if they've already picked out their camps. And there is a scholarship page for more information. There's
there's a blurb that talks about each camp so that you can preview those camps before you start the registration process and kind of pick out your schedule for the summer, looking at what you've got going and what weeks are available for kids, and then seeing what camps we have available.
Yes, the payments this year will be through the Titan program,
that's helpful.
Which is new, so fingers crossed that we've got that set up correctly.
Yep.
But again, reach out with any questions. Our email addresses are on the website.
Okay.
There are, by June 1st, if camps don't meet a minimum of 8 campers, unfortunately we do cancel them, so that parents have enough time to make alternate plans for their students. Other than that, the deadline and cutoff is 2 weeks before the start of a camp, and all of those dates are on the website, clearly marked as to when the registration for a certain week ends. And we're hoping that parents can get in and navigate and get their schedules started now. I know they've been looking forward to it.
Yes, very much so.
And the average cost of the camp is $115. But if you have a specialty camp that's got extra materials that needed to be purchased, that cost is added on there. And so when you go to register for the camp, you'll be able to see that price for that camp right there on that registration line.
So it sounds like there's minimal that we would have to provide if you want your child to participate. It's already all there. It's sort of included in the price. You're not asking for them to bring additional supplies.
Correct. Everything is included in the price of the camp. Your child just bring a water bottle and maybe sunscreen if they're going outside, or a snack if they want something special. But please reach out to any of the instructors personally. Their emails are linked on the website as well if you have specific questions about a camp, or if you just want to know a little bit more. But there is some good information already provided there. The instructors have kind of clued into what can be expected over the week. But reach out to any of us if you have any questions.
Okay. So before we head out, is there any other important information that we didn't touch upon that you want to make sure that parents here have before they start registering?
Sure. There is no transportation. I do get that question often. Unfortunately, the district doesn't provide transportation to and from, but reach out to a friend, get a neighborhood group coming. That helps sometimes, and with the same start and end times for all camps, we hope that helps parents navigate that piece. There's also, if your child decides to stay for a morning and an afternoon camp, we do provide a half an hour break in between, and they can bring their own lunch. There is no food service during the summer, but if they bring their own lunch, we provide a spot for them to eat lunch, and then we'll get them to their next camp. Their instructor will meet them in the lunchroom, and we'll start our afternoon sessions.
And that's the one thing to watch out when you're signing up for camps, that some of the camps are at the middle school, some are at the high school, and you might have to have that little transportation piece in between if you're choosing a camp in 2 different places.
That's a really good tip. Well, thank you both so much for joining us today. I'm sure we'll get plenty of registrants for this year, so I'm super excited to see how many we get.
We are looking forward to it. Thank you for having us.
We hope you enjoyed today's topic. We want your feedback. If you have any questions or are interested in different topics we discuss here on the Wyndham Voyager podcast, please email me at podcast@wyndhamsd.org. Thanks again for taking this voyage with me. For the Wyndham Voyager, my name is Natalie Gendrasco, and we will see you next time.